Call of Duty: World at War. In 2008, this game received mod tools that would eventually allow what feels like a once-a-life cycle of a game to last multiple years, as several other Call of Duty games released. The zombies mode was still a very new thing to Call of Duty, so when World at War was given mod tools, creators began to give the zombies community a place where they can enjoy an endless amount of maps. I do know that other titles, such as Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, have some custom maps, but in this video I wanted to focus on World at War and Black Ops 3. I wanted to take a moment to look back at how far these map makers have come, and to do that, we do need to go back to where it all started, where custom zombies started. 2008 saw the release of mod tools for Call of Duty World at War on the PC. People were allowed to download the map making tool Radiant, and from there create entire layouts of a map and add in everything an official zombies map from Treyarch had. Many of the first maps that could be categorized as knockdown totem or Varric styled maps. They didn't have many features like Pack-a-Punch yet, a very bare bones experience. One of the first, if not the first, custom map that was popular was The Last Christmas, or some would say it was called Subway. This was by Amish Thunder and Sparky McSparks. By the way, were actually two Treyarch developers. They decided to use the mod tool to actually create a custom map. It was a very basic map. It had an underground area and a middle ramp somewhere on the map that led to an upground area with a Christmas tree, the mystery box, and a slightly open space. That was basically the entire map. I mean, it's as bare bones as you can get, but it did show this was a completely new map in zombies. Like, this is not an official map. It was just completely new. Another map to highlight was Dead Sand by Jack Mac. It was a very early map that pretty much played like a tower defense map. You basically spawn into the trenches on this beach, and from there you just fought off the zombies as they came in from the beach. There was a little bunker area that you can go into and kind of move out in there. But it was very bare bones, but still a completely new map. Considering both the maps I just talked about were very bare bones, it does already show that map making was possible. You can create a whole new map already and just add in features as it comes along. Some little notable examples I want to point out during this time is one map called Frontier by Snowdog. This was probably the first map I actually remember that had attachments on the weapons that you bought, which was very new at the point. Like, say you bought the Gewehr 43, it had an aperture sight on it. Or you bought the MP40, it had an aperture sight on it. It was pretty cool. Got to see multiplayer attachments on weapons and zombies, which you normally would not see. Cheese Cube, originally by ZK Studios, and its tower map variants were just fun maps in general that you can sit back with friends and enjoy. You know, a little challenge of a map, so that was pretty cool. And another final notable example I want to bring in here was maps labeled TMG. There was a bunch of different like TMG maps, like TMG Christmas, TMG whatever. Like, honestly, it was just TMG and then they put a name in front of it. One I wanted to mention specifically was TMG Standoff. This map by Quiz. Very interesting map. It was a very unique approach to zombies. Basically, it was a very linear map. You start at the start and you're trying to get to the end. You also just choose a loadout at the start of the game, so like you're not buying weapons off the wall or anything. I mean, you're buying perks as you're going along, yes, but you're not buying like a weapon off the wall. So it's just straight, you get a loadout and you go. So you can kind of choose like, hey, I want to be the assault person today, or I want to be the support person. It was really cool concept, honestly. Surprised we never saw a lot more of it, but yeah, it is what it is. The very last standout map I want to talk about within this time frame of like very early custom maps was one called Project X. This was a map that featured a completely custom weapon, very good detailing on everything, considering it's coming from a World at War map, and it also just had an objective. So this was kind of like having a quest before quests were like really a thing in zombies. Like, I know nowadays it's literally every map has to have a quest. This map was probably one of the first, if I remember, coming from a custom map too, so not even Treyarch official, that had an ending to the map. Enter the UGX era of custom maps. Many old maps back in the day were hosted on zombiemodding.com, customcod.com, or ugxmods.com. In present day, there's actually a website called callofdutyrepo.com that does host a bunch of these custom maps for you to still download for World at War, especially the World at War maps, because those are very hard to find, by the way, just so you know. I do remember during my time on UGX mods very fondly. It was just browsing through all these maps, looking for whatever new map is going to be. People would put their work in progress. Those are always really cool to check out, like what map they're working on. And obviously, like, every time there was a new map, it was like just so cool to just see the forum page and just have like seeing people talk about the map. Specifically with UGX, they did work on one very big mod actually, basically just dubbed the UGX mod. It was featured on a map called UGX Requiem. This was pretty much the whole UGX mod team that came together to create sort of like this mod package, kind of like one of the first like mod packages. There were some other ones, like I do remember like, what was it, like COD Realism mod or something. That was like another one that was pretty cool. It had like a whole progression system. It was a way to give map makers just like a really good tool to just elevate their maps. So you could create a map, then just slap on the UGX mod, like just slap that thing on. You have all these custom features, custom weapons, custom power-ups, custom perks. As for maps released within this later amount of time, so this is kind of tailing towards the end of World at War modding. I mean, you had some bangers out there, let me tell you. First of all, you can't talk about custom zombies without talking about one of the GOATs. Leviathan by Jaybird, the World at War version. I mean, we will get to talking about the other version later, don't worry. But the World at War version for Leviathan truly was something special. Like, this genuinely felt like a moon map if Treyarch decided to make a moon map in World at War. Like, that's basically what it is. Like, it really is like just taking moon, throwing it into World at War, and just like amplifying it. It was incredible, like incredible work. Rainy Death by Hitman VR was a map that basically had a whole bunch of custom weapons. Like, genuinely, like, I think every weapon on that map was a custom weapon at some point, if anything. So, really nice work done by him. I mean, the layout of the map is also incredible. Like, it was just a really nice map in general. But having all the custom weapons was a nice add-on. And one of the other maps I really wanted to mention at this time is Clinic of Evil by Zartax. This was basically a Mob of the Dead map inside of World at War. It did come out towards the tail end, so this was after Mob of the Dead was released. But it really did feel like if they wanted to make Mob of the Dead in World at War, but like a whole new story kind of. And like, it was very, very well done. Like, huge props to Zartax. Like, it was a very clean map, no real bugs or anything. So it was just like a very good standout experience. Like, genuinely, like, all these maps that I mentioned for World, like these 3 maps I mentioned for World at War, they all feel like Treyarch maps. Like, they're like, this is something Treyarch would make. There were dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of more maps on the forum pages that basically were at that level. So, incredible stuff by the modding community within a Call of Duty World at War engine. I do remember Clinic of Evil was actually one of the last maps at the tail end of World at War to come out in the modding community. So basically it came out around July of 2016. And Black Ops 3 was getting its mod tools within that same year in September. So basically Clinic of Evil was very much like, here's like the final send-off to World at War. And here's to Black Ops 3. But yes, in September of 2016, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 would eventually receive its mod tools, and boy oh boy did things change.
I just want you to read that tweet on the screen, guys. Just look at it. Just admire that tweet.
A lot of map makers actually already had access to the mod tools, and they were pretty much messing around with them already. And before we do get onto some of the maps, I just want to point out some things with just Black Ops 3 in general. So first of all, the game is on Steam, and now it has full Steam Workshop integration. This is something Call of Duty World at War didn't have. Call of Duty World at War, you basically had to download a map and manually install it, or download an executable that was basically like an installer that would just add the map to a folder. So now you just go on the Steam Workshop page, look for whatever map you want to play at the time, just literally click the subscribe button, and it downloads it directly into your game. On top of just the Steam Workshop integration, the mod tools itself were just a huge upgrade to World at War. Instead of a World at War Radiant, now you have a Black Ops 3 Radiant. That was just like so many different tools that you can use at your disposal. So obviously map makers, we're gonna create some crazy things. One of the first maps I can definitely remember was Dead Apartment by Green Donut. Very simple styled map. I mean, just literally an apartment room. So not anything crazy, but like, you know, the mod tools were just released and people were like already just creating things. It's incredible. I mean, the one standout would have to be Fabrik the Untoten, which was by Madgaz. I mean, that map literally had a custom perk. Like, come on. A custom perk and the mod tools have just been released. It literally did something that Black Ops 3 didn't do within its entire life cycle. After that point, map makers kept making maps. They kept messing around with tools, creating resources for people. So as the years went on, obviously you got way more complex things happening and way more complex maps being created. And like it genuinely felt like a gold rush of just like, let's make custom maps. Let's keep making them. So, I mean, many of the maps rivaled stuff that even Treyarch would make, which is like incredible. So obviously that has not been lost in World at War. Like people are still making maps that are at Treyarch's level or even better than Treyarch at some point. Very subjective at that point, but you know what it is. So just some like really standout ones I want to talk, like just briefly mention. I mean, of course, Leviathan making its great return by Jaybird. This one just basically added so many more features to the original map, added literally 2 boss fights, like full out boss fights, and just an entire Easter egg quest to do. Like, come on. Like that's how you remaster a map. Like, that is just incredible. Nightmare by RDV, Zeroy, and Divine Fury was pretty much an entirely new experience inside of Call of Duty. Like, this doesn't feel like Call of Duty Zombies. Like, this is genuinely like a story inside of Call of Duty's engine. And like, as you play through it, you'll definitely notice it. It's like so many different custom features, different systems than you're usually used to. It's like kind of taking like a horror game and just like planting it inside of Call of Duty Zombies. And it works so well, by the way. It definitely is like an experience you have to do once just to like see it and be like, wow, that's been done. Ameliorama by Gogu is another one I want to mention here. This map basically is like, I know there's like a whole craze of Vampire Survivor type games at the moment, and Ameliorama definitely does that. It basically is like you're collecting resources, you're using those resources to level your character up by, you know, purchasing better weapons, more perks, skills even, and eventually you want to get as strong as you can so you can fight the final boss in the map. So very unique experience, very cool that they can just kind of implement a whole different type of game mode inside of Zombies. Honestly, at this point, Black Ops 3's plethora of maps is just way too large for me to even like just talk about every single one. I mean, you can go onto the Steam Workshop page and you'll see for yourself, there are just thousands of maps for this game at this point that is just like, I want to name so many that I know I've loved and played and like want to express my like gratitude to these map makers for. Definitely just go through the workshop page. If something finds your interest, try it out. You know, you might find something that you really like. You might find a completely new experience. You might find a challenging type map, maybe a map of very high quality. Those do come out very often. Even completely new experiences, some very even wacky and fun maps. I mean, there are definitely some wacky maps out there, I will say. And some maps that probably just say work in progress. But we know they're never gonna finish that work in progress. We know. I did want to take some time at the end of this video to highlight some things that have happened within the community that are for the greater, and I can see like how we will be progressing a lot into the future with all these custom maps. So back in the World at War days, actually, there were contests, like zombie map contests. I do remember some of the map contests were held by You Always Win. Basically, where like, I don't know, like Christmas theme map contest or some other general idea type contest. And those are really cool. It's a way for map makers to create something, people will judge it, and they get something out of it, like a reward. It was like basically like actually getting money in a way. This has translated into the present. I mean, we have people like Noah J hosting all these custom zombie map contests for whatever theme is going on. I mean, heck, even recently he had literally the Jason Blundell, so the guy that directed a lot of those very iconic zombie maps inside of Call of Duty. He actually even judged a contest, which was so cool to just see like full circle. Like this community has been growing for 10 plus years at this point, and it's like to see somebody that was very high up in, you know, Call of Duty itself, like somebody that a lot of people like looked up to just judge custom maps. It was a really cool experience. I mean, map makers nowadays even have Patreon pages, so they have a way to make some sort of income from making maps. So if you like their work, you can obviously go to their Patreon page to support them. On top of that, some map makers have even been commissioned to make maps, so just another way to generate some income from them. So it's just kind of incredible to see like something that's kind of you do for free just eventually actually pay off into real money. I mean, the growth of the custom zombies community has honestly been incredible over these past 10 years. And it's like, with even more new ideas being created, remakes of Treyarch maps being created, a bunch of general maps being made. I mean, I know that the future of this community is very bright, and I cannot wait to see what people will be creating in the years to come.